What is up, everybody? I am back with another video, and guys, that is it. The NFL season is officially over with the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely dog-walking the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. Now, this is just going to be a breakdown, my reaction, and yeah, man, let's just get right into this video. And man, what a game from the Eagles. We'll start off with the Eagles side. Jalen Hurts, I talked about on the podcast, the DMB's podcast. I'll leave a link in the description below. How big of an impact that he was going to have on this game. I mainly thought Saquon was going to be the deciding factor. And as you can see here, Saquon really didn't do much in this game, both rushing and did a little receiving. But no touchdowns, didn't reach 100 yards from scrimmage. But Jalen Hurts stepped up big time. We were talking about on the podcast how important it was for Jalen Hurts to step up if the Eagles wanted to win this game. And step up he did. Jalen Hurts, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, only 1 interception, and another 72 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Super Bowl MVP. Only had 4 incompletions the entire game. Went 17 for 22. And, I mean, Hurts, I think, solidified himself as a top 3 quarterback in this league with this, at least top 5. I mean, he's kind of been playing like it for a good majority of the season, but I mean, you know, mainly it's been the Saquon Barkley show, but when it mattered most, it became the Jalen Hurts show. I was so impressed with his performance here tonight. I mean, it was insane. He was doing everything perfectly. You know, he was running the ball, you know, with speed, ready to take on anybody. Like I said, he was dang near perfect passing the ball. And for him to have as good of a day he did, easily outdueling Mahomes as well, which shocked me. Man, I mean, you just got to give him props, because Hurts has taken a lot of flack, obviously. But for him to come out and do this in the biggest game of the season, man, it was just amazing. Saquon, once again, Saquon really didn't do much in this game. 25 carries, only 57 yards, only 2.3 yards per carry, 0 touchdowns. Now, he was a decent receiving threat, catching 6 passes for 40 yards. But overall, the Chiefs' defense did a pretty great job kind of shutting down Barkley for the majority of this game. It's just they couldn't do it to anybody else. Once again, man, just big ups to Jalen Hurts. I mean, for him to put on this type of performance in the biggest game of the season, sorry for my hair, I just took a shower. Wow, man, what a game from Jalen Hurts. And, yeah, man, you know, picking up where Saquon Barkley couldn't. You know, I thought for sure, if you told me heading into this game that Saquon was only going to average 2.3 yards per carry, and the Eagles were going to win, not just win, but win by 18, I would have called you crazy. But it just goes to show how big of a game Jalen Hurts really had. In the receiving realm, I mean, everybody, you know, these 5 guys were cooking, but Devontae Smith, huge performance, 4 catches, 69 yards and a touchdown. A.J. Brown, 3 catches, 43 yards and a touchdown. Dotson, 2 for 42, and Dallas Goedert 2 for 27. Like I said, man, a really efficient game. And it kind of goes back to what I said on the podcast, that even if they do slow down Saquon, they still had guys like Smith, like Brown, like Goedert to worry about. And that ended up aging perfectly because, you know, once again, they kind of sold out to stop Saquon a lot of times, but it gave opportunities for guys like Smith, like Brown, heck, Hurts in the running game to really make big plays needed. And it was just a great game overall. Now we get to the Eagles' defense, and man, I'm so proud of these guys. It was a heck of a game. I mean, genuinely, a great performance. I talked about how this was, arguably the best defense the Chiefs have went up against all season, how I believe it was the best defense they've went up against all season. And they proved me right. First off, Zach Bond, 4 tackles, a pick. Probably won't be an Eagle next season, but if this truly is his last game as a Philadelphia Eagle, he made it count. And then the 2 guys I really want to talk about or the three guys, Slay, Mitchell, and DeJean. I talked about how I was confident that this Eagles secondary was going to be able to slow the Chiefs' offense down enough and make the big plays needed to pick up the win and avoid the result that happened 2 years ago. And they did exactly that. Obviously, DeJean, huge pick six. Darius Slay locked down, Quentin Mitchell locked down. All three of those guys were just so good in this game. And for them to go out and do that, especially Mitchell and DeJean as rookies, I mean, the Eagles may have a top 3 secondary duo for years to come. I mean, that was just an amazing performance by Mitchell and DeJean. Really by that entire Eagles team in general. I mean, Mahomes got sacked multiple times, was under pressure at least 80% of the plays. And for Mahomes, he had 3 touchdowns and 2 picks, but he stat padded. And I'll admit I couldn't watch the full game mainly because I was at work. But I've seen clips and stuff, man, and I've seen the stats, and I've obviously watched the final couple minutes of the third and the entire fourth. And dude, from what I've seen, Mahomes looks so uncomfortable all game, and for them to do that to Mahomes is insanity. And also rushing the ball, I talked about how I didn't really believe in the Chiefs' rushing game heading into this game, and I believe that would play a huge factor. Kareem Hunt had 9 yards, P-Rod had 8, Pacheco had 7, Mahomes led the way with 25. I mean, they completely shut down the Chiefs' running game. Milton Williams had 2 sacks, Sweat 2.5, Davis 1, half a sack credit for Hunt, Jalix Hunt. And, man, there just ain't much to say, but just a tremendous performance. I mean, even guys like Jalen Carter, who maybe didn't put up many stats didn't do much on the stat sheet, still played a huge role in this game. And for them to go out and do that, man, it was just lovely. It was a lovely performance, picture perfect, and I'm so impressed. I mean, like I said, I talked about how I believe this was the best defense the Chiefs have faced all season. And I think the Eagles' defense more than proved that they are indeed the best defense in football. Jake Elliott, give him credit, man. Went a picture-perfect 4 for 4 on field goals, made every extra point. I mean, you could not ask for a better performance from your kicker. He came up clutch, and he made a lot of big kicks in this game. And, yeah, man, it was just a great performance for him. And now I'm going to go to Nick Sirianni here real quick. What a job by Nick Sirianni. Because people were calling for Nick Sirianni's job back when the Eagles started the season 2-2. So for him to take that noise, not even drown it out, but embrace it. Embrace the hate. And come out and coach like he did. I mean, I was talking about how Nick Sirianni, wasn't going to out-coach Andy Reid. He just had to keep up. And the Eagles could still win this game. But Nick Sirianni ran circles around Andy Reid in this game. It was a picture-perfect performance from everywhere, from the coaching staff, like Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio, and obviously Nick Sirianni, and the players as well. And also shout out to Kenny Pickett for getting some Super Bowl snaps. He has more Super Bowl snaps than Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, by the way. Just saying. But anyway, now we get to the Kansas City Chiefs. And, man, there's no other way to put this except that was an unacceptable performance. I mean, listen, that's no diss at the Chiefs. I know I'm a Bengals fan. How they came out in this game, how they played from beginning to end, was unacceptable. They clearly weren't ready. I don't even know if they wanted to win half the time, and especially when they were down 24-0 at half, I firmly believe that they gave up in this game. I mean, first off, Mahomes, he padded his stats a little bit at the end. This was a horrible performance. This is one of the worst Super Bowl performances of all time by a quarterback. I mean, he had if it wasn't for those 2 garbage time touchdowns, the stats would look a lot worse, but still, 2 picks, one of which was a pick 6 by Cooper DeJean, a fumble, obviously, that admittedly was more on the O-line than him, but still, man, it was just a horrific performance by Mahomes, and you got to play better. But at the same time, I'll play a little devil's advocate here. That O-line had maybe the worst performance I have ever seen in a Super Bowl. And that's saying something because I watched the Bengals 2021 Super Bowl versus the Rams. That genuinely may have been that O-line performance may have genuinely been worse than the one in 2020. Because at least in the one in 2020, the Chiefs have like 3 backup linemen playing. This game, no backup linemen, all mostly healthy at least. And for them to come out and get absolutely dominated in the trenches like that, I mean, you can't expect to beat any team, whether that be the Panthers in Week 1 or the Eagles in the Super Bowl, when you had the kind of performance that O-line had. And once again, big credit to the Eagles defense. They had a heck of a game. And, you know, at the end of the day, the Eagles owned this victory, and the Chiefs didn't. And for the Chiefs to come out the way they did, finish the way they did, man, there ain't much else you can say. Obviously, running the ball, man, they shot away from the running game heavy. Kareem Hunt, 3 carries, 9 yards. P-Ryan, 1 carry, 8. Pacheco, 3 carries, 7. I went over that in the Eagles defense section. That's unacceptable. Mahomes led the way rushing with 25 yards, and that just shouldn't be the case. Overall, in this game, they finished with, let me do the math here, 49 rushing yards off 11 runs. That's unacceptable. You just can't do that, man. You can't have that kind of performance in this game against this Eagles team and expect to win. You know, receiving wise, Xavier Worthy, he had a decent game. 8 receptions, 157 yards, 2 touchdowns. I say decent because truthfully, a lot of that came in garbage time when the game was already over, but still a good performance by him. Kelsey didn't show up at all. 4 catches, 39 yards. Really just didn't show up all game. Really struggled to get going, and overall, this was probably the worst season of Travis Kelsey's career as a whole. And who knows, man? It may be the beginning of the end for him. Hopkins, he had a dreadful performance. 2 catches, 18 yards. Did have one touchdown. Juju didn't show up. 2 catches, 16 yards. Hollywood Brown, 2 catches, 15 yards. Pacheco, 1 catch, 5. Kareem Hunt, 1 catch, 5. Noah Gay, 1 catch, 2 yards. As a whole, man, it's just nobody really showed up in this game besides on defense for Drew Tranquil. But we'll get to him in a minute. Overall, man, like I said, offensively, unacceptable performance by Mahomes. Just made some flat-out stupid throws. Unacceptable performance by the running back room. There is absolutely no reason why you should only have a 24 rushing yards, because that's what the running back room for the Chiefs had, 24 rushing yards. That is absolutely unacceptable. And for the receiving guys, I mean, obviously receivers and tight ends, all that. You know, like I said, Worthy was really the only one who showed up for the receivers in this game, really passing game as a whole. And even then, a lot of his stats kind of came in garbage time. I mean, you can't do that against this Eagles team, man, or you will get beat like a drum every single time. Then we'll go to the Chiefs defense, man, dreadful. Drew Tranquil was truly the only player out there in this game who looked like he wanted to, be out there. Karlaftis did have a sack, but besides for that, he really didn't do much. Tranquil had a sack, 11 tackles. At the end of the day, man, you just can't have this performance. I will give them credit. They did shut down Saquon. They are the first team this season to do that. But like I said, man, the Eagles' offense has so many weapons, it was impossible to stop them all. And, their secondary kind of getting cooked a bit like they did in this game at times, especially on that Devontae Smith touchdown, is unacceptable. Their just game as a whole allowing that Eagles to just drive down the field at will. I mean, like I said, the Eagles were able to drive down the field with ease in this game. That's unacceptable. You can't do that. Brian Cook had a pick. Like I said, Tranquil had a pretty good game. But besides for that, man, there was really not much to talk about with this Eagles team except you got to be better. There's just no other way to put it. You have to be better. you can't have the type of game they had. Chris Jones got injured, I believe in the third quarter, and I think it was third quarter. But even before that, Chris Jones didn't show up at all in this game. Obviously, a dreadful performance for that secondary. Trent McDuffie, Reed, Cook, all of them. And like I said, man, unacceptable performance. They just allowed this Eagles team to drive down the field with will. The Eagles were doing whatever they wanted for the majority of the game. Then that's why they were able to put the game away as early as they did. And you just can't have that type of performance, man. Kicking-wise, Harrison Buckner had like one kickoff, I think. Matt Ariza had a good game. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, but he had a good game, I guess. But Harrison Buckner, they couldn't kick with him because they didn't even score till they were down 34-0 late in the third, and at that point they were just forced to go for two every time. So, like I said, man, dreadful performance by the Chiefs. Overall, still a great season, obviously, but you just having this type of performance against a team as good as the Eagles is unacceptable. Like I said, man, they didn't show up. It's as simple as that. This was a game where the Chiefs decided to play their worst football at the worst time. And this loss is on everybody. It's on Mahomes for making all the mistakes he made. It's on the running backs for doing literally nothing. It's on the receiving corps for doing nothing for the majority of the game till it was already too late. It's on Kelsey for not showing up at all in the game. It's on the defense for allowing the Eagles to do whatever they wanted. And it's on Andy Reid because him, Steve Spagnuolo, all of those guys, man. And I know I mispronounced his name, sorry. But, it's on the coaching staff for not having these guys coming ready to play in this game. And at the end of the day, man, I don't know if just the pressure was too much or if it was just an off night at the wrong time, but the type of performance they had in this game was unacceptable. And what's next for the Chiefs? I don't know. Those are going to be two videos I make, what's next for the Eagles and what's next for the Chiefs. But yeah, man, like I said, congrats to the Eagles. They are the Super Bowl 59 champions. For the Chiefs, the dreams of a three-peat is dashed. Still a great season. But once again, this performance was unacceptable at every level. And you can't play the way they did and expect to win the Super Bowl against a team as good that the Eagles are. So once again, congrats to the Eagles, man. It's their third Super Bowl appearance and their second Super Bowl win, I believe, in the last 7 or 8 seasons. Their first Super Bowl victory since 2017. And yeah, man, RIP Kobe. I wish he was here to see this. But yeah, man, that's it for this video. I know it's going to be a late night upload again, but I really wanted to make this video. Man, what a game. Just domination by the Eagles, and for them to play the way they did in this game, I was really impressed. And I'm proud of them, man. I like the Eagles. I'm glad Saquon got a ring. I'm glad Hurts got a ring. Like I said, big ups to Nick Sirianni. Silencing all the doubters with this, man. And yeah, man, congrats to the Eagles. That's all I got to say. That's going to be it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're new, turn on post notifications so you don't miss a new upload. Podcast episode 2 will be up tomorrow. I will leave the link for that in the description below. But until next time, guys, I love y'all. Stay safe. Peace out. And yeah, bye, guys.